Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. Okay, Brown Girls Are Beautiful reporting to you live. And the reason that I decided to come on today is because, in case you all have not heard, Orenthal James Simpson, yes, the one and only O.J. Simpson, has unfortunately succumbed to his untimely demise at the age of 76 years old, you all. 76 years old. I had no idea that O.J. Simpson was 76, y'all. Just 4 years shy of being 80. He looked really good for his age, despite what anybody wants to say about him. All right. Now, they said the reason for his death was due to prostate cancer, and that is quite shocking. Um, Unfortunately, my grandfather passed away from the same exact illness. Now, I'm going to give you some interesting facts about Orenthal James Simpson. Hello, how are y'all doing out there? All right. Thank you for all that's tuning in and joining me today. In case y'all didn't know, we did talk about OJ on this channel some months ago. Might have been like a year or two ago. We did a game show about OJ Simpson and the whole trial and all of that stuff. It was very, very interesting. We had Melanated Chicks on here, and yeah, so let's just get into it. So I found out about this by way of text message. Yes, my mother texted me earlier today, and I was really shocked. It did something to me. I don't know why, because I never met the man. But you're always hearing about OJ Simpson in the media, making appearances on the golf course, out and about at the store. You know what I'm saying? Saying hi to the tabloids, despite all of the things that he went through, right? And I had no idea. I don't think a lot of people knew that OJ Simpson was actually sick with prostate cancer. And the funny thing about prostate cancer, y'all, is because they tell us that it's a very curable type of cancer. Basically, what they say is if men get the surgery to have it removed, that their likelihood of survival is very high. They have a high rate of a high survival rate from this. Now, the difference between OJ and my granddaddy, I don't know what stage OJ Simpson was in, but I know my grandfather went down pretty quickly from the time that he found out. He did not want the doctors cutting on him. He refused any type of surgery or operation or anything like that. So therefore, it led to the things that happened. So in OJ's case, I don't really know, um, you know, the depth of his illness, and I guess maybe his family wanted to keep it under wraps because of all of the things that surrounded his, I guess what you want to say, his reputation. So let's just go ahead and look at some images of OJ Simpson because y'all, for him being the age that he was, he to me he looked like he was in pretty good shape, pretty good condition, tall, big, thick kind of guy. But there were reports saying that someone had recently seen him and he was looking a little fragile, a little frail, because a lot of times, unfortunately, when people have cancer, you all, they start to lose weight because the cancer cells are eating away at the body. I hate this for anybody to go through. This is one of these sicknesses and diseases that we really need to talk about. And I have to tell you, since the solar eclipse, y'all, even before the solar eclipse came in, it's been a lot going on. We had a death in our family. I want to say Thursday, maybe 2 Thursdays ago or 2 weeks ago. I think it happened on a Thursday night. I can tell you that for sure. At the end of March, the last Thursday in March. That happened out of nowhere. All right. And my relative, and I talked about this on the last episode, I think for F Your Feelings Friday. It was just an untimely situation. Nobody saw this coming. He was doing okay. They said he had pneumonia. He was exercising. He was rolling himself around in the wheelchair. Boom, all of a sudden, he's no longer here. With OJ, they're saying that there were reports of him looking fragile. So let's see if we can find a little bit more about what took place. And you know, we have to be sensitive too, because he has family. He has children. He has, I forgot their names, Justin and Sydney and Arnell and the other one. I can't remember right off the top of my head. But y'all, OJ was a major thing back in the day. All right. We know him from football. We know him from the Hertz commercials. A lot of people know him from that. I don't remember him from that. I remember him. This is how I first got introduced to OJ Simpson. It was the high speed or low speed pursuit. You know that famous, infamous Bronco chase. That's how I remember OJ Simpson. Now, I wanted to know, because this is very interesting, how in the world, if OJ Simpson was going on a low speed pursuit across the interstate, how did these fans have time to get signs prepared and set out on the interstate with holding up signs saying, "Go OJ, go OJ"? People were rooting for OJ Simpson, y'all. How did they get to do that? How did they know the path that they were going to travel down? That's all the stuff that I want to know. That famous Bronco chase, y'all. Another thing that OJ Simpson was known for was being in the golf on the golf course, striking those golf balls. You know, did he do it? Because of him, this is how, and I'm going to say it again, the Kardashians got their claim to fame. If it were not for OJ Simpson, there would be no Kim Kardashian. All right, let's just make that very clear. You all know that OJ Simpson's attorney, well, he wasn't really his attorney, he was his friend, Robert Kardashian, because at the time of the trial, Robert no longer was practicing law. He actually was the owner of an ice cream shop, but he was sitting on the dream team in this, over there on the side with OJ for the defense team. Yes, he was, but nobody knew that. Also, nobody knew that Johnny Cochran was a civil rights activist. All right. That whole episode, that whole facade of a show in the courtroom, I really believed a lot of that stuff was staged. What really happened to Nicole Simpson? I don't know. I really don't know. She has a very strong resemblance to Denise Simpson. Her and Denise look so much alike. It's scary. Remember Faye Resnick back in the day? All of them hung out. Kim Kardashian's mother, she was hanging out with OJ Simpson's ex-wife, Nicole Simpson. They were all partying. They were messing with all of the football players. Nicole was messing with some of OJ's teammates, y'all. Yes, she was doing that. And she was doing some other stuff too. All right, cocaina. Now, they tried to leave that out of the trial because they wanted to paint a picture of victimhood. All right, but they didn't tell the full story about some of Nicole's activities, including the fact. Now, they tried to paint OJ Simpson to be this crazy monster, right? But including the fact that he really went off. Remember that 911 tape they played? I could play it right here on the channel. Well, the reason why OJ was so upset, this was back in the late 80s, I think, is because she was actually practicing an intimate act on a man downstairs while his children were upstairs in the bedroom, allegedly asleep. Now, he was peeping through the window, coming through your door, snatching up your people, hide your kids, hide your wife, y'all. OJ Simpson was lurking through those bushes. But that's what he saw. And I think he ended up going off on Nicole because of some stuff that she was doing. She was in her she was 19 when she met the man. Okay. He was rather older than her, kind of like the Puff Daddy, kind of like the, Puff Daddy and Cassie situation. So he divorced his first wife, his melanated wife, and he married Nicole, she was a waitress. Okay. So of course she married the man, she liked the lifestyle and all of that. Now, also people they don't understand this either. Nicole used to complain to her family about OJ Simpson because he was controlling. He was temperamental. His zodiac sign, he's a Cancer. His birthday was on July 9th. All right. So he just was a couple of months away from his birthday. Let me see, May, June. And you got to be real careful, because if you pay attention to astrology and numerology, they say about 59 to 60 days before your birthday, people tend to transition. All right. So it's a very crucial period. That's something that happened to my cousin just the other week. His birthday would have been in May. All right. So these things do take place. I know a lot of people don't believe in that stuff. And with the solar eclipse, I was just watching something earlier on TikTok, and they were saying that because this is the season of Aries, we're in the Aries period here, there's going to be a lot of high rapid movement, and some of these things could include the transitioning of people into another realm. So OJ unfortunately met his untimely demise, y'all. But let's just have some flashbacks on OJ Simpson, y'all. Let's just go back because in case people have forgotten, O.J. Simpson, it says O.J. Simpson's civil judgment collection to continue after death. Goldman attorney pledges. So even in his demise, the attorney is still coming after O.J. This is some stuff, y'all. And what did the man really have to take? What more could it's kind of like that whole Tyrese situation. What more do you want from me, OJ, right? They took his Heisman Trophy, they took all of his memorabilia, then they set him up and basically antagonized him with his own belongings when he went out there in Vegas back in what, 2005, 2006 to obtain his belongings. That's how they ended up, locking him up, because he didn't get locked up for the actual uh, murder, okay, of Ronald Goldman and Nicole Simpson. Why didn't he get locked up? Because if you all remember, Detective Van Netter and Mark Furman planted evidence through a little squeegee, one of those little test tube little things. They squeezed out droplets of blood to try to plant evidence, and it was very obvious. So the defense brought that up, and so it planted doubt in the jury's heads, and this is why they basically, said that I think he was found not guilty. Yeah, I believe so. And I think they even tried to plant that glove too, but we're not sure about that one. Yeah, so if it doesn't fit, you must have quit. Shout out to Johnny Cochran. Now, if you didn't know, Johnny Cochran passed away sometime after the trial as well. They said his demise was due to some type of cancer. I believe it was brain cancer. Also, Robert Kardashian, if you look him up, he passed away after the trial, and I believe it was some form of cancer. So yeah, it's just very weird, very strange, y'all, how all of this took place. And then another thing that I found was strange is that Christopher Darden, remember Christopher Darden was on the prosecution side, working aside but alongside Marsha Clark. Now we all remember Marsha Clark with the curly hair, with the bulging eyes, looked stressed out. Okay. Her and Christopher Darden, I think it was alleged, if you ever watched that, it was a 12-part series that came out. I think they might have had something going on. Christopher Darden allegedly cried when the verdict came back that he was not guilty. And also, I find it very ironic that Christopher Darden had switched over to a defense attorney for Nipsey in the Nipsey Hussle trial. You remember the alleged Eric Holder, right? So yeah, Christopher Darden was actually in that trial. I think the whole thing is just really weird how it all played out. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen with y'all. Let's get into what's going on with the Goldman family right now, because OJ wrote that book, If I Did It. I read that book, and the way that that book was written, it appeared that he did it. All right, I'm just saying, most of us was happy that he got off because of a racial tension that was brewing during this time and still is very prevalent today. However, things weren't looking like he was innocent. Let's just say that. But the fact that that evidence was planted, I think that actually is what led to OJ being let off. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at this right here. What you're going to see is it says the OJ Simpson civil judgment collection to continue after death. Goldman attorney pledges. All right. So they're apparently going to keep pursuing whatever is in OJ's estate. Whatever's left over, they're going to keep pursuing it. This is a California attorney seeking to collect a civil judgment from OJ Simpson after he was found responsible for the deaths of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman in a 97 civil trial, is vowing Thursday to push forward with collection following Simpson's passing. So this means that if OJ left anything to his children or his grandchildren or his relatives, they're going to try to take that away from the children. Simpson 76 succumbed to his battle with cancer on Wednesday as he was surrounded by his children and grandchildren, the Simpson family announced in a statement. I've been dealing with this problem since 2008, so it's been a long time. I'm still dealing with the matter, San Francisco based attorney David Cook told Fox Business on Thursday. As to OJ Simpson here, it's really simple. It's called dead without penance. He's gone, but it's without penance. For Ron, obviously, he's gone. Simpson famously was acquitted in a 1995 murder trial for the brutal slayings of his ex wife and Goldman outside of her Los Angeles home. Now, if you look at OJ Simpson's eyes right here, I did take notice of how red they looked. A lot of times his eyes didn't look very white and clear. Sometimes that's indicative that a person is battling illness or could be sick. Sometimes they could just be high or drunk or just tired or have allergies. We don't know. But other than that, I feel like he aged very well. He aged very gracefully despite everything surrounding his reputation. All right. Despite the charges, despite the case, I think he did pretty good at maintaining um, a standard of looking really nice. So even during the trial, he was a nice looking man, in my opinion. I think he faced those charges at the age of like 46 or something like that. All right. But it says a year later, a civil trial began that ultimately found Simpson responsible and awarded the Brown and Goldman families 33.5 million in damages. Where do you think he was going to get this money if he was no longer playing football? Basically, they have tarnished his reputation, demeaned his character, assassinated everything that he worked for. How was he going to pay $33 million in damages? All right. I don't blame him. I would have fallen back too. And then I think they even knocked down that house that Nicole was living in. What was it? There was the Gretna and there was Brentwood. Remember the Brentwood? Yeah. So I don't think that house is there any longer. Cook, who represents Ron's father, Fred Goldman, told Fox Business that the judgment in the case has now risen to 114 million due to interest. Where do they think they're going to get this from? Maybe like now that he's gone, they think that maybe they're going to collect on some memorabilia. I don't know what things they still have out there that are representative of OJ's maybe athletic career, but this is really messy, y'all. Everything starts a new life here. I'm trying to find out um, are there any funds here that would be available for Fred? If there would be those, but we need to hire lawyers to do that, Cook said. So you see, even in this man untimely demise, they are still going after whatever assets may be left over, regardless if this man has children and grandchildren. These are the infamous gloves. Everybody remembers this trial. If you were around to see it, right here is Johnny Cochran. What did he say? It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Now, OJ struggled to put on these gloves during the trial. As we all saw, the gloves obviously fit. All right. Did melanated people admit that the gloves fit? No, they didn't. Every melanated person, y'all, it is not a laughing matter, but we really don't know what happened. Most melanated people wanted to see OJ free. Okay, they were celebrating like they knew this man. We were so invested in this trial. How do I know? Because when I used to come home from school, my mother used to have it turned on to the OJ Simpson trial. This was all that was on the news, y'all. Every single news station was streaming the live footage of the OJ Simpson. This was the trial of the century. If you didn't know it, look it up. This was deemed the trial of the freaking century back in 1994. Yes, y'all. This is how we woke up off the sofa. It was myself, my sister, and my daddy. Back in June of 1994, as a matter of fact, we awakened to the news break of the fact that OJ Simpson was having a low speed pursuit on the interstate. I think it was in like Los Angeles, California, in the white Ford Bronco with his friend Al Collins. All right. There was a suicide note allegedly left, which Robert Kardashian read, which is Kim Kardashian's father. Okay. He read the suicide note. As we can see, OJ Simpson is wearing the blood-stained gloves. All right, this is Exhibit A, y'all. Found by Los Angeles police and entered into evidence in Simpson's murder trial. Now, the reason, again, why he allegedly got off is because Detective Van Etter and Mark Furman, and there were tapes played with them saying the N word. Okay, they didn't like melanated people. They considered OJ the N word. All right, he was a jigger. And so they decided to plant evidence. So even if he did this, and even if there was enough evidence to prove it, they are the reasons that this man was set free. Okay. Because it planted doubt in the jury's head. And if there is at least a percentage of doubt, you cannot convict the person, allegedly, right? Okay. Yeah, requestive prosecutor Christopher Darden was the one that told him to put on these gloves on June 15th, 1995. As okay, yep, that was what he wanted to do. All right, so this is these are pictures are back in the day, y'all. Mm. I remember it like it was yesterday. Let me stop. Yes. So anyway, we don't want to remember OJ like just for the trial, but this is really what made history. Okay, now let's get into this high speed pursuit, if you will. Mm. Y'all, if it wasn't for OJ, a lot of people would not be where they are today. People don't want to admit that. Okay, OJ Simpson. And let me see here. Yeah, I see that they have this Ford Bronco pictured here, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. I think they were trying to actually auction it off. I don't know if y'all remember that. But yes, this is the Ford Bronco. It was one just like this. And he was allegedly laying down in the back seat with a sawed off revolver pointed to his head. I think a lot of this story was fabricated, honestly. You know, Donald Trump told us it's all fake news. You can't trust the news, right? Mm. I had no idea, y'all. I had no idea. Look at this. I don't know if that's going to play for us. It looks like it's revolving around. Spent most of his life in the national spotlight. Yeah, there were some very interesting things. OJ actually he brought a lot of attention to himself, a lot of unwanted negative attention, and I think a lot of times he did it just for attention. Unfortunately, I don't think it was the best thing for him to do. But let's hear what they have to say. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Here he is. It's a rather large man. All right, let's pause right here. What are they saying? Okay, he was surrounded by his children. They wished for privacy and grace. I don't blame them. All right. All right. Everybody knows this is Nicole. She dyed her hair blonde. She was really not a blonde. All right, but this is her right here. Now, for some reason, it's something very eerie about this whole court trial, even till today, nobody really knows what happened. And I'm almost wondering, did he get framed? Did they pin this on him, or did he have something to do with it? Was he there, but he didn't do it? We still don't know the answer. We still don't know this answer till today. All right, so this is allegedly a shot of Al Collins driving the Ford Bronco. Take a look at these license plates, 3DHYFO3. I don't know if anybody knows how to look that up, y'all, but it says that it's in, it looks like Manhattan Beach. Like I said, he was led on a leading a police chase through Los Angeles. It's almost like this whole thing was staged in a way. Interesting that they say he was sentenced to 33 years in prison. What is so significant about 33, you all? We know that a lot of times when they use these numbers, Masonic practice is involved, right? And so that's why feel like some of this stuff does not make sense because, again, I don't know where Miss Melanated Chicks is today. I think she's not feeling well, but if she were to come on here, she feels her sentiments are the same as mine. We kind of feel like this whole thing was framed and staged for the public eye. And you think that the government or the media wouldn't pull some trickery off like this? Oh, yes, they would. If you haven't looked into the whole JFK, Everything is a Rich Man's Trick documentary, the lengths and measures that people will go through to trick the public, you got another thing coming. Please check that out if you haven't. I talk about it a lot on this channel. So, yes, it says sentenced to 33 years, not 30 years, not 25, not 20, but 33. They specifically picked that number for a reason. All right. And he was released on parole in 2017. Numerology is at play here, too. All right. So in May of 2023, Simpson posted a video on social media stating he had caught cancer. Now, I find it very ironic because no one ever phrases anything in that nature saying that they caught cancer. You might end up getting cancer, having cancer to start showing up in the body. But this isn't something that you just catch. I think that's a very strange way of wording this illness. So just last year, about 1 year ago, y'all, only 1 year ago, he had stated that he caught cancer. All right. That's weird. Mm. I don't know what to make of this either. Because there's a lot of trickery that goes on. I don't know if really it was cancer or did something else happen. I don't know. You just never know. It's the same thing with the Easy E situation, right? Like, how do you get AIDS without having HIV first? Because it was my understanding, as they taught us in school, that HIV leads to AIDS, right? This is what they told us. Human immune, what is it, virus or something like that? And then it leads to AIDS. But even we found out that was a lie. Shout out to Dr. Fauci, the little leprechaun liar. We found out that even all of this stuff that they told us about that disease was a lie. All right. So we just got to be really careful with stuff like this, y'all. Never believe the first narrative that they put in front of your face. Always look deeper than what they're telling us, right? Let's see what else can we explore or examine here about this OJ Simpson situation, because when I heard it, it was very shocking news. And I'm not saying that he couldn't have been sick. He could have been sick. Yes, he could have been. But it was very ironic because yesterday I had just made a statement about OJ Simpson, and we were talking about the fact that when they raided P. Diddy's houses, how they tore his houses apart, right? And somebody made the statement, and I agreed. We both said, yeah, well, they didn't do that when the OJ Simpson case came about, and he actually allegedly, you know, struck someone with a knife and they didn't make it, right? Two people allegedly, but they didn't do all of that to his house, right? So I found it very strange that they would do that to Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, but didn't do that back in this OJ case. I don't know. It's just weird how they do stuff for the public eye, y'all. Um, Moving along, let's see what else that I wanted to point out here. Where's Nancy Grace at? You know, she couldn't stand OJ Simpson, nor could she stand Michael Jackson, and she can't stand Puff Daddy either, y'all. Seems like any melanated guy with money and fame and fortune that's been accused of something, she just really cannot stand them. And it's almost a certain level of hate that she almost has for these men or males, if you will. All right, let's continue on. There are so many things that took place that was a little ironic with the OJ Simpson situation, because even after the civil suits and he lost, he still came out poking fun at the idea of him assaulting Nicole and Ron Goldman with a knife. And that's why I'm like, who would actually do that? Who would actually come on camera and antagonize someone with a knife? It's not funny, first of all, if this actually happened in reality. But let me just play this for you. It's almost like he was practicing a scene. Like this, let me play it because I saw this like back in 2015 when I was going through YouTube one day, and I didn't know what to make of it, y'all. All right, so as you see, I'm sharing my screen. OJ Simpson pulls an absolute bank. All right, it's like a prank he's going to show. And I don't even think this is funny because he was accused of stabbing this woman to death.
After we finished filming, OJ said to me that he had a surprise for me, and I genuinely was surprised. I think it was his idea of a joke, and this is it.
Right. Who?
Joke. And this is it.
Nobody would. Who does this?
After we finished filming, OJ said to me that he had a surprise for me, and I genuinely was surprised. I think it was his idea of a joke, and this is it.
So anybody that has actually been accused of something like that, I don't think they'll come on joking about it, especially knowing that someone really did pass away from it. That's why I thought that whole situation was really weird. I don't know anybody in their right mind that would do something like that, honestly. I just don't know what people have. We don't know what these celebrities have going on, what type of deals they've worked out, what type of humiliation rituals they have to practice. We don't know. We don't know. And if you notice, every melanated male, look at Tiger Woods, when they make it for, if even if it's entertainment, if it's in the athletic industry, they make sure they tarnish their character. Remember all those 20 some women that came out talking about Tiger Woods had an affair with him and he had to pay this his wife millions and millions of dollars and she divorced him. Okay, so and then ironically he hit a tree out of nowhere and all of the melanated people were talking about Tiger Woods doesn't want to claim that he's black. What difference does it make anyway? You can clearly see that the man has Asian in him. If he doesn't want to claim his melanated roots, who really cares? Is that affecting your everyday life? It's not. All right. So then you had that, and you had OJ, you got Chris Brown when the whole Rihanna assault thing took place. What did Doublemint do? Pulled the deal. All of his endorsements got pulled away from him, right? Okay. So that's another one. Then you had the whole R. Kelly situation. What did they do? Tarnish his character. They had Surviving R. Kelly parts 1 and 2. And we know these women lied. How are you crying about something that happened back in the 90s? You made tears because you actually probably you probably practiced this whole thing. You were auditioning, you practiced. It was a whole studio production. That's just how I feel about that. Now you got Puff Daddy. Now I'm not saying that these men are wrong if they did partake in these activities. What I am saying is notice how the media will pull everything away from a melanated individual. But look at Hugh Hefner. He went out silently, quietly. Nobody bothered him. Nobody bothered that Playboy mansion bunnies that were in that house. Nobody bothered that mansion, right? Yeah. So we got to think about that too. Yeah. Um, let's see if we can go on here. And poor thing, you know who I feel sorry for are his children. Sydney, what's her name? Sydney. Sydney Simpson. When we last saw her, Sydney had gained a lot of weight. She was looking at the cameras, and she just did not look happy at all. They were really cute children. I remember back in the day seeing them. They were on the cover of every magazine, the National Enquirer. And I just think it is so messed up that people exploit children. They were six, I think 6 and 9 years old when this stuff happened. There you see Nicole Brown Simpson's children, OJ Simpson's children, Sydney, and I think his name is Justin or something like that. Even after OJ was allegedly locked up for the demise of Nicole Simpson, don't you know there were still more women standing in line? Caucasian women at that, to be his girlfriend. Yeah, he still came out with a Caucasian girlfriend after all of this happened. All right. Glenn Rogers confessed to the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson. This was a year ago. Why did we never hear about this? Why did we never? Let's play this because this is the first time I'm hearing about this. You see how they kept this on a low profile? Yeah, they didn't want us to hear about it. I didn't even know this man came out to confess, y'all. This is weird. So weird. Let's
meeting and some outlandish claims. Here's why Glenn Edward Rogers confessed to the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson. In the early morning hours of June 13, 1994, the bodies of 35-year-old Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend, 25-year-old Ronald Goldman, were found lying in pools of blood outside Simpson's Brentwood, California condominium. As reported by Penn Live, both Simpson and Goldman had been stabbed multiple times, and their attacker had fled the scene. In the course of their investigation, authorities learned Nicole was the ex-wife of former football star O.J. Simpson. Per AP News, law enforcement officials went to O.J.'s house at approximately 4:30 a.m. to inform him of Nicole's death. They immediately noticed what appeared to be a bloodstain on O.J.'s Ford Bronco, as well as a trail of what appeared to be blood leading from the vehicle to the front door of his home. As they were suspicious of O.J.'s possible involvement in the murders, authorities obtained a search warrant to search the inside of his vehicle and home.
I always said it was the most depressing and sad night of my life.
During the search, law enforcement officials found a bloody glove, which was similar in appearance to a glove found at the murder scene per AP News. They also found more blood stains inside Simpson's vehicle and home. Simpson was ultimately arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder with special circumstances on June 17, 1994. However, he vehemently denied any involvement. During the trial, prosecutors argued that O.J. and Nicole had a notoriously volatile relationship and that O.J. was jealous of Nicole's relationship with Goldman. Meanwhile, O.J.'s defense team argued that he was framed by police officers who had a history of racist behavior. They also argued that the evidence against O.J. simply did not prove he was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The trial, which lasted 9 months, concluded on October 3, 1995. Jurors determined O.J. Simpson was not guilty in the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman per Newsweek. Although Simpson and his supporters think the jury made the correct decision, others believe the former football star got away with murder. Over the years, several theories regarding who else might have killed Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman have been suggested. One theory, which was presented in the 2012 documentary My Brother the Serial Killer, suggested that the pair were actually murdered by serial killer Glenn Edward Rogers. In the documentary, Glenn's brother Clay Rogers said, "I'm absolutely certain that my brother killed Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman."
Oh, yeah. This is the first time I've heard about this. I wonder, was it due to drugs? Let's hear what they got to say.
Clay also suggested that Glenn had the means and opportunity to kill Nicole and Goldman, as he was working as a house painter in the area when they were murdered. Per ABC News, Glenn reportedly told his brother and sister that he met Nicole and noted that she was wealthy.
They got money, they're well off, and I'm taking her down.
That makes no sense. Why wouldn't you hold someone for ransom? Why wouldn't you get the money? Like, did they say that anything was ransacked in the house? Did they say that any valuables were missing? Did they notice anything missing? You wouldn't just take someone down without getting something out of it just because they're wealthy. That doesn't make sense.
In an interview with a criminal profiler, Glenn allegedly claimed that O.J. Simpson had hired him to steal a pair of earrings and kill his former wife during the robbery. Glenn also provided specific details about the deaths of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, which further supported his claim that he committed the brutal murders. ABC News reported that in addition to knowing details about the murders, Rogers was able to draw a detailed picture of the knife he claims to have used to kill the victims. According to ABC,
But see, now all of this has been orchestrated on the media. Like, everybody saw the knife for the trial because everybody saw it. Everybody saw, or did they find the knife? No, They never found the knife, y'all. However, everybody knew how they succumbed to their injuries because it was a very detailed trial talking about it. So if he was around back then, he remembers the details. It's all over the media, y'all. You can pull up articles about it. But he does look crazy. Now, that's why I said I feel that OJ could have had some type of ties to the situation where he knows who did it. He was there. You know what I'm saying? He had some type of relation to this situation. Did he actually do it? I don't think he actually did it. No, I don't. I really don't think he actually did it. All right, let's continue.
Detailed picture of the knife he claims to have used to kill the victims. According to ABC News, filmmaker David Monahan said he believes the information provided by Glenn's brother. Combined with Glenn's confession to the criminal profiler, Monahan believes that this should have been enough to prompt an official investigation into his possible involvement in the murders. However, Ronald Goldman's father, Fred Goldman, disagrees.
He hates OJ with a passion, and I really feel that Ron Goldman's father is a Racist, because if you just look at him, and he might be some type of actor, because who wears a mustache like that? I find it very ironic that after 20 years, you still have the same look, same mustache, same type of glasses, same hairstyle, same everything. So, do you want to not change your look for a reason? Why are you still looking like this after 1994, 1995, 96, back in the early 2000s, 2013, all the way up until recently? He still looks the same, y'all.
Asked about the information presented in the documentary film, Fred said per ABC News, "The fact of the acquittal at the hands of the jury will never wash away this murder from the hands of O.J. Simpson, no matter how many Glenn Rogers pop up on the media radar screen." Glenn Edward Rogers was ultimately arrested 6 weeks after Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman were found murdered. Law enforcement officials said he went on a crime spree and is suspected of more than 70 murders throughout the United States.
Wow, y'all. Glenn Rogers went on a crime spree. This is news to my ears. I'm just finding this out. This is crazy. Several murders, sentenced to death.
ABC News. Rogers was convicted of several murders and subsequently sentenced to death in both California and Florida. However, he was never arrested and indicted in Brown, Simpson's, and Goldman's deaths, nor was he mentioned as a person of interest in those crimes.
So they pick and chose who they wanted to pin this on. Glenn Rogers, huh? Now, as you know, it's so funny because look, as the screen went off, it says tragic details found in Robert F. Kennedy's autopsy report. I should share this screen again so y'all can see exactly what I'm seeing. Remember, I told you everything is a rich man's trick. Check out that documentary because they lied about the whole Robert F. Kennedy situation. Y'all, you would have no idea, no belief on what they would do to cover up a lie. It is crazy, y'all. The world in which we live, the country in which we live, the government in which we are up under, the presidents, the quote unquote presidents that are allegedly running this country, which they're really not running the country, y'all. It's just all sickening, all sickening. Your George Bush Sr., what he has done to Robert F. Kennedy. Oh, he had some part in his untimely demise. They don't want to talk about that. We are living under the mafia and we're living under murderers, y'all. Unbeknownst to a lot of people. People don't want to believe that. They always want to keep us focused on entertainers and stuff like that. No, the people that you see every day on the news, your political arena, these are the people you also have to watch out for. So if they could do this to a president, imagine what they could do to anybody. And right now, Donald Trump is going through it too. He's going through a whole lot with his trial. And if they can do this to Donald Trump, who is a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire, imagine what they'll do to a regular person. This is why we have to be spiritually aware of what's going on, okay? And we have to have some type of union with the universe, with a higher power or higher powers, all right? Because y'all, we are living in a time of ruin and a time of deceit, a time of lies, a time of evil, all right? It's a lot of evil worship that takes place right here in North America. This is one of the most evil countries ever. All right, let me stop sharing my screen here. But yeah, this is the first time I heard about Glenn Rogers, y'all. I cannot believe that I didn't hear about this. But this is what the media does. They quiet people that they don't want people to know about, and they blast people that they want to make look guilty. Because even with OJ Simpson, what they would do on the National Enquirer, on the cover of the magazines, they would actually darken his complexion. I guess the darker you are, the guilty you are, the more guilty you are. Maybe that's why they would do that. But y'all, they had him plastered over all the articles. And what was so disheartening and was so disrespectful is they kept showing Nicole, and they kept showing her body, and they kept showing the bloody scene of her lying there, as if she didn't have children, as if she didn't have a mother, as if she didn't have a father or siblings or family or people that cared about her. That's the thing. And then they kind of lessened it, like Ron Goldman. Yeah, they talked about him, but not as much as Nicole, because she's a female. Now Ron Goldman was 25. Nicole Simpson was 35. So she was being a cougar at the time. Okay. She was having her fun. Let's just put it out there. So it's just sickening, y'all, how the media can orchestrate a narrative and feed it to the public. All right. Now, why would OJ Simpson play into it? I think he knew that he was being used for this narrative. I don't know if there was some type of deal worked out behind the scenes. I don't know if they tried to frame him. Well, yeah, I know they did, because we heard about it in the trial. We saw the evidence of that. But Glenn Rogers, y'all, mm-mm-mm. That's crazy. Oh, so back in 2012, there was a cable TV documentary. Rogers claimed that he committed the 94 murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Although O.J. Simpson was found liable for the murders in 1997 in a civil trial, but acquitted in a criminal trial. How does that work? You were acquitted in the civil trial. I'm sorry, yeah, you were acquitted in the criminal trial, but then they brought up a civil trial against him. You see how they do, even with Bill Cosby, right? They wait till 30 years past the statute of limitations, and they make up the rules as they go. They try to take, because they don't want him to be recognized as America's father, right? He was known as America's dad back in the 80s and 90s. Everybody loved the Cosbys, the Huxtables. All right, but they tarnished his image as well. Any melanated male with money, any melanated male with power, you cannot, go out gracefully. They always have to tarnish your image before you go down. This is what they do. They do it to them all. They do it to everyone. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, man. But yeah. So anyway, let's continue moving along on this thing, y'all. It's very interesting how the puzzle unravels. It's just like the Michael Jackson thing, how after his untimely demise, we find out that those Latino children actually lied on him. They waited years until after his death to admit that their parents put them up to lying because they wanted money. So the foreigners can come over here and actually claim a lawsuit against an American citizen, lie about it, and become rich, and nothing's done about it. They perjured themselves. Nothing's done about it, even though the statutes of limitations was up for the Bill Cosby situation. Didn't matter. It was 30 years ago, 27 years ago. They still brought up charges. Where was the evidence? Evidence was gone. Evidence had been t- tarnished. But still, they put this 80-some-year-old man in jail, 70 or however old he was, America's grandfather at that point. It's just craziness, y'all. Where was Hugh Hefner on that Playboy Bunny ranch in that mansion, living the life with those Playboy bunnies? What did Charles Ramsey tell you? Something is wrong. It's a dead giveaway, y'all. A dead giveaway. It was more Playboy bunnies in that house. You know, Goodness, man. and they said it was a high speed chase. No, it was a low speed chase. He wasn't even going that fast at all. Mm, 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 mm. Let's look at the footage, y'all, from back in 1994. For those of you who are around and remember this. Mm, 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 mm. Yes, 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 y'all. Here it is.
These guys showed up on a crate and it
OJ Simpson, the juice man, y'all. And you know there's a rapper called OJ the Juice. You know that, right? Does that look like a high speed pursuit? No, that was a low speed chase. That's why I keep saying low speed chase. They knew exactly where Al Collins was headed. He was headed to the house. They were in communication allegedly with Al Collins because I think he had a cell phone in the truck and he was communicating with the officers. They had a helicopter flying overboard. Um, all of this going on because allegedly OJ Simpson was in the back of the Bronco with a gun pointed to his head, allegedly a revolver. This is what they're saying. I don't believe that either because they actually showed an image of the Bronco and you could see through the windshield, the back window. There was no OJ Simpson in the back unless he was lying down in the seat. So, yeah, it still doesn't make sense to me until this day. It still doesn't make sense. Look at this. Look at this. And on the edge of the highway going down the interstate, there are a whole bunch of fans flocked together. How did they get the signs together? How did they know where OJ was going to be on the interstate? Go, OJ, go. Go, OJ, go. Y'all, I'm telling you, this was the trial of the freaking. I'm sorry, I got a call. This was the trial of the freaking century. The trial of the century. All right, let's see what else can I find for y'all. Fans, okay. Yeah, there are a lot of fans that were upset about this whole OJ debacle. All right, so I'm going to show y'all this, okay, so you can see what I'm talking about. These are the fans. We didn't ask you all of that. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen so you can see this. All right. June 1994, y'all. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's a flash of the Bronco. I'm going to pause it. Now, look at all these police cars behind. Look through the windshield. Does this look like OJ Simpson in the back seat? No. No, the only person we see is the driver. Now let's continue. Let's continue. I know there's a way to probably slow this down, but I'm going to freeze and pause it. Freeze and pause. All right. It's like a production scene or something. Look at this. Mm-hmm. Allegedly, that's Al Collins driving. Does that look like Al Collins? I can't tell. Y'all let me know. What do you think? Where's Miss Melanie Chicks when you need her? Okay, there we go. Flash of it. Who's in the back seat? We don't see anybody through this screen right here. Look, 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 look. We don't see anybody. But allegedly, OJ Simpson was back there with a revolver. Okay. All right. Tinted windows. Really fast. Now I want to know who was standing on the interstate with a camera or a video camera back then, because you know they had the big video cameras. Who was standing on the? But you know, I'll say this: it was very shocking because allegedly that's how they caught the Rodney King beating, and I feel like it was something going on strange with that because you know Rodney King ended up dying in a swimming pool years later. I heard that some stuff with that was staged as well because what they want to do is they want to incite a racial war between melanated people and Caucasian people because they want to keep our attention off of what's really going on with these quote unquote elites that's tearing the country down. And we got to tell you this before I forget, I'm going to bring up this article that OJ took the injection, people. Oh, yes. OJ and DMX took the injection. DMX actually had the injection just days before his alleged heart attack, before he came to his untimely demise. Yes, indeed. Look at these fans cheering on the side of the highway, y'all. Now, they're out of their cars. You see someone right here filming. I mean, look at this. And some of these people even had banners, poster boards, and everything. It says Santa Monica right there. You hear the cheering? They're cheering him on. Very, very weird. Very strange, y'all.
Time for me to get set up for therapy, and I use this.
Very strange. All right. Yes, this is a flashback of the O.J. Simpson trial, y'all. Yes, it is. I wonder, let me see if I can play the O.J. Simpson 911 tape for y'all. Because, see, this is what Marsha Clark kept playing in the courtroom, right? O.J. Simpson, Nicole Simpson, Brown 911 call. She kept playing this in the courtroom. And this is what she thought was going to win the case, but it did not win the case. Hands up. Thumbs up if you were rooting for OJ in the trial. Thumbs down if you were not. Interesting, y'all. So here we go. We're going to listen to this 911 call. There were a lot of things they hid in this trial, too. I have to let you know that. I did my research back in 2015 when this whole thing resurfaced. For some reason, it was very ironic how this trial resurfaced because they did a documentary, 12 episodes, I believe, on the O.J. Simpson situation. Yes, indeed. All right, so let me rewind this back and I'm going to play this. Okay, so they only play a snippet of this, but OJ was partying. He was partying with some of the police officers, whether y'all believe it or not. Okay, that was happening. Are they going to let it play?
911 emergency. Can you get someone over here now to 325 Gretna Green? He's back. Please. Well, okay, what does he look like? He's O.J. Simpson. I think you know his record. Could you just send somebody over here? Okay, what is he doing there? He just drove up again. He just drove up over? Okay, wait a minute. What kind of car is he in? He's in a white Bronco. But first of all, he broke the back door down to get in. Okay, wait a minute. What's your name? Nicole Simpson. Okay, is he the sports counselor or whatever? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Wait a minute. We're sending the police. What is he doing? Is he threatening you? I'm going nuts. Okay. Has he threatened you in any way, or is he just harassing you? You're going to hear him in a minute. He's about to come in again. Okay. Just stay on the line. I don't want to stay on the line. He's going to beat the shit. Wait a minute. Wait. Just stay on the line so we can know what's going on until the police get there. Okay. Okay, Nicole. Uh-huh. Just a moment. Does he have any weapons? I don't know. Okay. He went home. Now he's back. Okay. My kids are upstairs sleeping, and I don't want anything to happen. Okay. Has he hit you today or no? No. Okay. You don't need any paramedics or anything? Okay. You just want him to leave? My door. He broke the whole back door in. And then he left and he came back? And he came and he practically knocked my upstairs door down, but he pounded it, and then he screamed and hollered, and I tried to get him out of the bedroom because the kids are sleeping in there. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then he wanted somebody's phone number, and I gave him my phone book and put my phone book down to write Just write down the phone number that he wanted, and then he took my phone book with all my stuff in it.
The dispatch.
What?
All right. So I just want everybody to know that the picture that they're showing of her bruised face is not in connection with this 911 call. But this is what the media what lead you to believe is that that dispatch call was a result of what happened to her face that day. These were two separate occasions. So he had already displayed his controlling behavior. They used to actually do cocaine together. Nicole used to party with cocaine, and so did OJ Simpson. They would actually have parties doing this stuff. Okay. So let's be very clear. She was also partying, like I said, with Kim Kardashian's mother. What's her name? Kris Jenner. They all used to run together back there with Faye Resnick and them. Okay. They were out there having fun with these athletes, with these football players. She was messing around with some of Nicole Simpson's friends and some of his football buddies or teammates or whatever have you. All right. She was not the most innocent person, but was he cheating on her? Yes. They were all messing around with each other's people and doing stuff with each other. And it is alleged that Kris Jenner messed around with OJ Simpson back in the day. Thus forth, they're claiming that that is what's her name? Kardashian's real father. Let's do a side-by-side comparison if we can. Khloe Kardashian. How do you spell her name? Is it? Oh, it's with a K. Khloe Kardashian and OJ Simpson profile. Let's see if we could, if they have a side by side profile. They are saying that this is really look. People have already put this up online many years ago. They're saying that this is her real father, y'all, and it wouldn't surprise me. This would not surprise me. People do this all the time in people's families. They lie. All right. She does look different. Okay. Um, I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Are there any resemblances? Can you see any similarities in the face? He's smiling on these. She's not. She's kind of tall. You know, actually, Arnell, have you seen Arnell's? That's who we should do. We should compare Arnell Simpson, which is OJ Simpson's first daughter, eldest daughter, to her. That's what we should do and see what they look like. Because, yeah, let me see if I can do that. Arnell Simpson and Khloe Kardashian profile pictures. That's what we should do. Okay, let's see if we can find some pictures of Arnell Simpson. Share this tab instead. All right, so this is his first daughter. She's a light brown skinned young lady. Nice looking. She's real pretty. But I'm trying to see. They don't have many pictures of her. Arnell Simpson. All right, let's just take Khloe out of it for a second. This is what his first daughter looks like. That's her right there. All right. And I think she keeps a very low profile. She's 55 years old, y'all. Oh. Yeah, because when this whole thing came out, she was young. I think she was like in her early 20s. Her account is private. So, as you can see, she does not want to be in the public eye whatsoever. But let's click on this picture here. IMDb. So did she do some acting? Let's see. Try to pull her picture up. She's pictured there with Magic Johnson. You didn't really hear a whole lot from Arnell. She kept pretty quiet. I don't think they had the best relationship when she got older, her and her father, actually. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, look at the eyebrows. The eyebrows, y'all. Look at the eyebrows. You tell me what y'all think. Could this in fact be? We don't know. We just don't know. You know, they were wild back in the day. They don't want to paint that picture, but they were wild back in the day. Okay, things were. It was something strange for a little bit of change taking place back in the day, y'all. Mm, mm, mm. Cato Kalin said he heard 3 knocks. Remember? He heard 3 knocks. It was a whole lot of stuff that went on. All right, but before I forget, let me actually play this. I'm going to show you this article real quick before I head out, y'all. And I did put this in my notes because I did not want to forget to share this with y'all. So here's the article. Let me click on it right here. And I thought this was very interesting. All right, let me copy this link. Okay, let's see. Copy. For some reason, it doesn't want me to. All right, let me see if I could do this another way. All right, it's not working like that, like I wanted it to. All right, let me try to. Let's see. Here we go. All right, I got it now. So this right here, everyone, is what happened back in 2021 with OJ Simpson. Now, I thought this was rather ironic and strange. Nobody talks about this, but it says OJ Simpson's DEATH linked to COVID vaccine question mark busting conspiracy. All right. Now you can see here pictured he is allegedly getting the vaccine. And I want to know who takes a picture of themselves getting a vaccine or an injection. We'll just say the word injection. Because if I say that V word over here, you know, YouTube, they like to have a fit. They have a hot fit. All right. Let me see if I can read the article for y'all. So on this tab, it says, let me see, view. All right. All right, here we go. O.J. Simpson, controversial media personality and former NFL player, died on Wednesday, April 10th. His family announced on social media the 76-year-old was suffering from prostate cancer. He died in Las Vegas, officials said there on Thursday. Okay. So back in 2021, he had the COVID injection. Let's see if I can find any more information on that. Oh, yeah, this is the article that I'm trying to share that they won't let me share. So I'll try to read it because it's not allowing me to share it. Let me copy. Let me try one more time. It says, I got mine. OJ Simpson boasts about getting the CO. This article was actually written or posted Saturday 30th, 2021. Okay. Let me see if I can actually show this to y'all instead. All right, let's see if it'll come up. Here we go. Yeah, so he said he got his January of 2021. Mm-hmm. Same picture. Face mask says the juice. You can see him right there, looking a little bit older. Still doesn't look bad. Probably has lost some weight. Yeah, I can see in this picture right here, he does seem to have lost weight. It says OJ Simpson tweeted a photo of himself receiving the injection in Las Vegas, Nevada. OJ Simpson shared a photo of him receiving the injection and encouraging others to get it when their time comes, causing consternation amongst some Twitter users. The former football star and ex-convict wore a face mask with his nickname The Juice printed across the front as he was injected with the injection at a distribution site in Las Vegas, Nevada. The caption read, "Get your you know what, I'm getting mine." Some followers felt outraged that the 73-year-old was inoculated against the you know what virus ahead of others because of his criminal past despite his advanced age. So some people were upset that he got the injection before other people had a chance to get it, not understanding the ramifications of having the injection. All right. Simpson's fame. All right. We already know he was a Hall of Fame player. We know about Nicole and Ron Brown and all of that. And again, it says he was sentenced to 33 years in prison, released in 2017 after serving 9 years. So we have 33, that's an odd number. 2017, another odd number. 9 years, another odd number. This right now is 2024. See, this happened to him on April the 10th. Okay, his notoriety, and he was 76. His note 76. Okay. His notoriety pursues him to this day, with Twitter users sharing memes relating to the infamous murder trial and questioning how the murderer could get the injection before the rest of us. Now, for those that are questioning that, I think it's very foolish. All right. Because I'm going to show you something else. All right. I'm going to show you something else. So, do y'all remember Earl Simmons, DMX? Okay. Now let me see if I can find that article because it's on here. Yep, here it is right here. Let me pull it up. I don't even have to search. I put it in my notes just so I could share it. This is another situation that came about, and I'm going to share this as well. Copy. Nobody talks about this though. Everybody is so entertained with Puff Daddy, but nobody talks about what's really taking place out here in the world. All right, so let's go here and we're going to share. And I just want to let y'all know it is showing that I have 18 people watching me. It was up to 19 people and they've been watching me the whole time. But when I actually go to the channel, it says only one person is watching. Okay. So like Hassan Campbell said, they playing with my numbers. The game is rigged, y'all. Just so y'all know that. All right. But if you like this video, please share the video. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you for my new subscribers. And if YouTube is unsubscribing you, just be aware that they are doing that because my friend was saying that they're doing that to him. All right. So let's bring this up. Okay. All right. And let's play this.
Woodstock '99. This is fire. Woodstock. He just was a real authentic artist. You know, people knew the difference from him and somebody that just rhymed. He rhymed from the heart. Big difference. People rhyme with words. He rhymed from the heart and things that he went through and he experienced. So he was just putting his life on wax.
This is tragic. You know, we've had a long list of the losses in the hip hop community from back in the day to now. You know, this is a big deal. It's a legend.
Now, one thing that they don't mention about, they tried to keep this very quiet. Um, did he receive the injection before his death? All right. I saw an article that said he received the injection days before his alleged heart attack or whatever happened to him. Now, PolitiFacts ruling says this is false. Be careful. Okay. Watch your circle before they hurt you. You know where I got that from. Here's why DMX. Okay. Hospital. Now, I want y'all to know this. It said that he died peaceful. Don't believe everything you see. Catastrophic cardiac arrest. A cardiac arrest just means your heart stopped. Your heart went into a cardiac. Cardiac means to breathe in, out. Okay. Your heart could no longer pump the blood. You couldn't continue to breathe in and out. This is what a cardiac arrest is. What caused the cardiac arrest, we don't know. Something was done to him. We do know that. Did he have the vaccine or the injection? I'm not even going to say anything. Just look at my head. Yeah. Okay. Now, I've already talked about what this thing can do to people. And I'm not going to revisit it here because YouTube likes to attack my channel. As a matter of fact, I think that's why I have the people that's watching me as soon as I come on here, they flock to my channel like that and I can see it because they probably have AI and robots listening in for anything that I say that they disagree with. So you can just use your imagination. I've actually had to put some of my stuff on Patreon because it's very interesting information what I found out about this injection, y'all. Very interesting information, and it is very scary information. I was talking about it heavily when it first came out, and I had to back off of it because they would always strike the, you know what they would do. All right, so let me not go there. But anyway, interestingly, there's a guy named Dr. Jolly. Okay, and I'm going to see if I can actually find that information on Dr. Jolly. Okay. Anybody that's facing some type of health ailment, I would strongly encourage you to reach out to Dr. Jolly. Um, he worked with DMX and with Bobby Christina when she was in her coma. Dr. Jolly was able to get Bobby Christina to start responding again. She became responsive. They don't want to talk about that for some reason. Also, DMX, aka Earl Simmons, he was doing a special prayer, okay, for Earl Simmons. He said that the staff and the nurses wanted him escorted out of the hospital, not to come back, because Earl Simmons, DMX, started to get stronger and stronger the more that Dr. Jolly was working with DMX in that hospital. It was so bad that he said that after he was escorted out of the building, they did not even want him on the territory, the hospital territory. And I think he said something about a red beam was pointed at him. But yeah, this just goes to the extreme measures of what they will do if they want to get rid of someone. All right. I'm trying to see if we can find that video. And it was on another YouTuber's channel because I watched it. Dr. Jolly does have a YouTube channel. You might want to check it out. He does sell his natural herbs and concoctions. All right, let me see if I can find that for y'all. Like I said, there's no limit to what they will do when they want to cover up the truth. Y'all, this world is not what we think it is. The USA is not what we think it is. The people that are in charge of this media is not who you think they are. Make no mistake. So they did a great job at tarnishing DMX's character. Did he have a drug problem? It was obvious. It was obvious that some things were going on with him spiritually as well. But he was a very spiritual person. Um, okay. Okay, yep. So here is a video that talks about the whole DMX Earl Simmons situation and Dr. Jolly. Okay, I was looking for that. So y'all make sure, I should try to post it, the link here, so y'all can see it. Check out these videos, y'all. Please look this stuff up. There's a reason why they took him out. I could tell you that. This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. Listen.
Don't really know the industry. The industry.
His voice was so powerful. So powerful. I used to listen to the prayers on his CDs back when he used to come out. He could pray. This was a praying man. So despite all the things, the antagonistic betrayals of him, you know, in the media, he did have a spiritual side. He was deeply spiritual, y'all.
The industry. Man, it's not the same. Doesn't have to do with talent. It's about playing the game. The industry. Real niggas is dying to get in. The industry. Just to find they don't fit in. The industry ain't what it used to be. The industry's trying to control the way you MC. They want you to dress like this and talk like that. But I'm going dress like this and talk with the bat.
Let's chat about how anyone who tried to spill the beans on Diddy and Jay-Z ended up in deep trouble.
Okay. Now let's pause right there because what just happened not too long ago to Al B. Shore. I can tell you how I feel, love you night and day. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I like Albie Shore. I like those songs from back in, what was it, the late 80s, early 90s. Dun, 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 dun. I can tell you. Yes. Yes, Albie Shore. Okay. So he ended up in some type of coma, allegedly because of a stroke that he had. What happened to Kim Porter? Allegedly in her 40s, she ended up with pneumonia, and all her family saying that she didn't seem sick at all. What happened to DMX? Now let's listen to this.
Or got slapped with the crazy label, and now no one gives them the time of day.
Right.
So the legendary DMX was one of those brave souls who supposedly tried to call out Diddy for messing with and mistreating his artists, and Jay-Z for being in cahoots with the big shots. Now, fast forward to Jaguar Wright's recent interview spilling the tea on Diddy and Jay-Z. According to her, Jay-Z takes the cake for being even worse than Diddy. Apparently, there's a whole bunch of messed up and shady stuff that Mr. Sean Carter allegedly did to climb his way to the top. Let's start with X and his difficult story, and then his venture into the music industry is going to make more sense. DMX, born on December 18th, 1970, in Mount Vernon, New York.
All right. So December 18th, y'all. He was a Sagittarius, hard worker.
Wasn't dealt the easiest hand. His folks were Arnett Simmons, 19, and Joe Barker, 18. DMX was the middle kid, with an older sister, Bonita, and later a sister named Shayla, and sadly, 2 stillborn brothers. Barker, his dad, did watercolor paintings of street scenes in Philly to make a living. In his early days, DMX faced violence from his mom and dealt with bronchial asthma. He grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, but ditched it after an accident messed him up. At 5, his mom sent him to live with relatives in Yonkers. After taking a beating from his mom, he got kicked out of middle school at 10 and ended up in a group home. It is said that his mom beat him up so badly that she knocked out 2 of his teeth with a broomstick. At 15, he was back in Yonkers, crashing in empty storage bins and rolling with stray dogs. Thanks to bad grades, DMX couldn't stick with the track and field team at Yonkers Middle High School. Broke as a joke, he resorted to robbing classmates for food, clothes, and even a leather collar and harness for his dog. Soon enough,
All right, so I just want you to hear the backstory of DMX because the industry knows who they are picking. They pick people that are in very desperate situations to join, people that need money, that are desperate, right? And once they get into the industry, what do? They try to mold them into what they want them to be. But DMX could not be molded, he could not be broken. All right.
he started jacking cars. In the early days, back in 1985, DMX kicked off his career by beatboxing for a local rapper called Ready Ron.
All right, let's skip past some of this because I don't want to play the man's entire video. But
so today's the day.
we
I've
did
got
see Puff Daddy just now on a yacht, on a boat. And I want you to see how this whole thing ties together, y'all. This industry, this world is crazy.
Exposure game. Now the spotlight is shining on his longtime pal, Jay-Z. Recent reports spill the beans that DMX was one of the OGs in the industry who saw through both of them. In a recent interview, DMX claimed Diddy was messing around with his artists. Now, some peeps think DMX was tossing around the word graping as a metaphor for Diddy not coughing up enough cash for his artists. On the flip side, there are folks dead set on believing that X meant every word he said. DMX wasn't vibing with Diddy, and rumor has it, he caught wind of some shady stuff going on at Bad Boy. One fan even suggested that DMX spoke about how Diddy allegedly mistreated his artists, particularly mentioning Biggie. Now, people initially thought DMX might have been hinting that Diddy was taking all of Biggie's money. But considering the recent allegations surrounding Diddy, anything seems possible. Now, when it comes to DMX and Jay-Z, their history was tangled. Even though Jay publicly showed respect when X passed away, some folks claim X never fully trusted Jay. Allegedly, DMX thought Jay was shady and didn't want anyone else rising to the top.
Yes.
X even claimed that Jay messed with his 6th album because he was afraid of the competition.
I believe that.
However, Jay-Z never admitted to that move. Right after DMX's passing,
Who do you think the better artist is? Who had more charisma? Who had more of a voice? When DMX spoke, people listened. And he just had a spirit that transcended through the TV screen. Jay-Z doesn't have that. Jay-Z has, I guess, the backings of the industry, and people think he's powerful, but I feel that DMX was the more charismatic of the two.
Passing in April 2021, Jay appeared on LeBron James' show, The Shop, where LeBron asked him about DMX's legacy. Jay recalled boycotting the Grammys in '99 because DMX didn't get a nomination, emphasizing the bond of love despite the competition. Conveniently, Jay left out his part in playing the competitive game and allegedly messing with X's grind. In 2004, Jay-Z took the reins at Def Jam Records, and according to DMX, that's when things took a turn. Despite DMX repping Def.
All right, y'all got to understand that this is all a facade. Sometimes when artists do this, they want to portray the image that they are trying to help out their fellow artists or their, person that they support. But a lot of this is a facade. A lot of this is just smoke and mirrors. They do this for the fans. They don't want the real picture painted of them, of how they really feel on the inside, y'all. So we can't be caught up in the antics of it all, but just kind of look past what they show you and what they display to you, because people are very deceptive. Okay. Jay-Z is a very deceptive individual. One thing I liked about DMX is what you see is what you got. He didn't try to put on a facade. Even when he was on the Iyanla Vanzant show with his son, he was who he was on camera and off camera. You got the real DMX. On the Dr. Phil show, it didn't matter. He never changed. But I can't say the same for a lot of these other individuals.
Def Jam for years and dropping 5 chart-topping projects between '98 and '03. X claimed that Jay tried to throw a wrench into his 6th studio album, Year of the Dog. Again, in the world of hip-hop, it seems like there's more to the story than meets the eye. And the drama between DMX, Diddy, and Jay-Z adds another layer to the complex history of the industry.
What happened was, like I said, I had the crazy track record, Def Jam, everything was good. I go to do the 6th album, and
Jay-Z became president.
Yeah. When he first got the job, he hit me with the call like, "Yo, dog, inmates is running the building." Like, "Yo, you good?" Finished the album.
Well done. You know what I'm saying? Listen to him when he talks and when he speaks. He's very passionate. He's very passionate. I don't think he's making stuff up.
Video. What happened? Niggas go on vacation and we don't know. You don't know. How do you listen to a whole album, pick a single, shoot a video, then don't know? Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. Because at first you retire, then get me off the label. Now you're back rapping again.
This was the moment when DMX saw through Jay's game. It became clear that Jay was all about his own moves, not caring about anyone else unless it fit his plan.
Does this sound familiar? Does this not sound like a repetitive cycle? Did we not hear some of these things played out with the relationship with him and Dame Dash and other artists? Because Memphis Bleak was also another one of the people that was on the label, and we don't hear about him anymore. But one thing about Jay-Z, he has a funny way of making people shut the H up. Remember that guy Jazzo? Well, Jazzo, and then Jay-Z came out as Jay-Z. Don't you know he got his whole entire rapping style from Jazzo? If you don't believe it, I'll play it again. Yeah. And even Jazzo was giving the truth about Jay-Z, but years later, he came back and recanted his stories. Do you think he might have gotten some type of wind or conversation that if he didn't be quiet, something may have happened to him? Was he paid off? Inquiring minds want to know. And whatever happened to that woman, Jessica White? She mysteriously vanished off the face of the planet Earth because allegedly this was one of his people that he was dealing with, and Beyonce had a real problem with it. They said she was driving Beyonce crazy.
So X bounced from Def Jam and struck a deal with Columbia Records. But wait, There's more to why DMX had serious doubts about trusting Jay, and it's all connected to Jay's ties with the shady higher-ups in the industry who truly call the shots. Both Jay and DMX left an indelible mark on the culture and music scene, but their business approaches differed. Unlike Jay-Z, X always kept it real,
Yes.
calling out how label owners grip artists
Mhm.
tight, and he wasn't about to bend for them.
Right.
Not figuratively and not
There
literally.
you go.
Now, Jay-Z, he's been making industry maneuvers from the get-go. And over the years, accusations piled up about him turning his back on close associates.
Mhm.
One of those associates is Rockefeller co-founder Dame
I
Dash.
just said it. I just said it.
Even though they wrapped up the lawsuit in 2022, Dame wasn't done speaking up. He straight up called Jay out, saying Jay did him dirty for that cash.
Now, I want you to think about what's going on with Jay-Z and what's going on with Puff Daddy. A lot of artists have come out speaking against how Puff Daddy has treated them. He's done a lot of his artists dirty as well. We talked about it on the prior episodes. Think about 112. Think about the Locks. Think about what happened with Mace. It's all over the internet if y'all really want to do your research. All right. He got the arguing almost with the Locks right on live radio. And then he tried to pull a bait and switch, telling them, oh, you know where I'm at. You can come to the office and talk to me. But that is all to try to save face on the radio. He knows what he's doing. He is very calculating and very conniving, y'all. So they say that him and Sean Carter are really close friends. Sean Carter and Sean Combs, birds of a feather flock together. All right.
Dame was basically pointing out that corporate big shots in the music business got into Jay's ear and convinced him to turn his back on their partnership. It's the usual story. They
Mhm.
make one sell out the other, divide and conquer.
Yeah. So that was done with what's his name? Lior. I think he said Lior. But yeah. So, I went through all of that just to give you a synopsis about the whole DMX situation as it relates to OJ Simpson. I didn't know I was going to go off on a tangent in that that deep, but hopefully you get the gist of what I'm saying here. So with all of these untimely demises that have been taking place, I would look to see if people had these injections. And there's actually some type of patent on the injection, but also there is a stipulation. And I don't know if anybody has read this because the doctors are not going to let you actually see the pack in which they're pulling the needle out to inject you with. But they have a clause in there that states you cannot sue them. All right. You cannot sue these companies that orchestrate or give the injection if you should arrive at your untimely demise, because allegedly some things that you inject into your body can exacerbate any underlying symptoms, okay, and actually can cause cardiac arrests in male figures, allegedly. All right, you can do your research on that. I'm not going to get too deep into that, so I just wanted you to kind of look into that. Now, I did try to pull up Dr. Jolly. That's how we got onto this whole DMX situation. I think it's going to be on YouTube. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube, y'all. Because right now they're going off on something else. Let me see. Dr. Jolly Harris. All right. Here he is. So you can actually find him on the internet on his YouTube channel. It's called The Food Prophet. Again, Dr. Jolly, and please protect this man at all costs. It's called The Food Prophet. All right. He's a very humble individual, similar to that of a Dr. Sabi, I would say. So here he is right here, The Food Prophet. All right. So it looks like he had a video as late as, I think he has some later videos actually. Let me see here. Did he do any lives? I don't think he's a man of the internet. But if you call him, he will answer and he will talk to you. He's a busy man, but he's a very passionate man. All right. And we have to treat food as medicine, y'all. We have to start looking at food as medicine. Here, there's a video saying Bobby Christina Brown, her friends speak on Reels TV. Here we see that he has a video called Staying Alive Till 125, the food prophet. On my last video, I played a video of the lady that said that she was 140, I think 141 years old, and she actually had cancer as well. So I'm going to try to bring that up because I don't know if anybody actually heard about her. Lady. Okay. They actually diagnosed her with cancer as well. Okay. And she was able to get rid of her cancer. Oh, here it is. I'm going to play this again because I think more people need to see this video. So if you see the video, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and share this information with family, friends, and whoever you know that might have an illness that needs to be cured, because one thing we do know about these pharmaceutical companies, they're not going to give you the cure. They'll give you a treatment so you can keep coming back and coming back and coming back. It's for money. All right. They actually send people from these colleges over to Africa and certain places to study the medicine and the herbs. And what they do is they concoct this inside of the pharmaceutical pills that they give to you, but it's just enough to kind of keep you coming back for more and more and more. That's what they do. All right. So let me go ahead and share this tab so y'all can see this for yourselves. This is the lady right here.
So is your medicine make you live so long?
I mean, I have no.
All right.
You are 141 years old?
Right now.
Oh my. So is your medicine make you live so long?
I mean, I have no sugar. I mean, I have no pressure. I mean, I have no heart attack. I mean, I have no pain. I know my farm. I do everything said it.
That woman says she has no sugar, meaning no diabetes, no pressure, meaning no high blood pressure. And she's 141 right
You are
now.
141 years old?
Right now.
Oh my. So is your medicine make you live so long?
I mean, I have no sugar. I mean, I have no pressure. I mean, I have no heart attack. I mean, I have no pain. I know my farm. I do everything said it.
And she's talking coherently. She's in her right mind, y'all.
She is a mother of herbs. She have a bunch of medicine. So we're going to see what she have. Mama Lily, what you say you have for we now?
Yeah, today now I'm here with some healing medicine, some good herb. This is a cleanser, very good for cleansing the system from pain, cramps, and everything, period pain, and so forth, cleansing. And this one is the tonic. It's good for the man and the woman. From tired feeling, can't sleep well, impotent. It cleans everything.
How long have you been a herbalist?
From 1977. Yeah. And my age is 141 years old now.
You are 141 years old?
Right now.
So is your medicine make you live so long?
I mean, I have no sugar. I mean, I have no pressure. I mean, I have no heart attack. I mean, I have no pain. I know my farm. I do everything said it. Yeah, man, I have children. So my granddaughter there, so I said that's Simila, and my daughter, Judith, and my sons them. I know. Yeah.
How long did it take you to perfect your formula?
Well, I work with the moon. And the moon is that give you life when the moon is kind of full.
Listen to this lady now. Y'all protect this lady at all costs, because you see what they did to Dr. Savy. They basically said that he succumbed to his untimely demise because he ended up catching, was it a cold or pneumonia or some type of illness or sickness? Now, that man was very healthy and he dealt with the herbs and the natural herbs as well. But you know what they did? I heard that they made it so cold in his jail cell. And then I also heard he wasn't eating because he didn't want them to poison him. So, the whole thing was a setup. They're trying to get rid of these people. Over here in America, they don't like natural herbalistic doctors. Holistic doctors are banned here in the United States.
And the new moon is try to prepare your herbs, and before the moon full, then you will boil your herbs. So I do soak my herbs And after soaking them, then I throw them off and prepare them, put them into the bottle and so forth. So I work with humanity. I'm a healer through the power of the Most High. So I heal through the herbs and water. So no matter what the problem you have, there's something in the herbs for you. Because the Most High said, if the leaves of the tree are healing of the nation. You know what I mean? So then we must attain ourselves to the herbs. Yeah, and the herb will heal us. Cramp, pain, and all of them something, the bad stomach. Because look, in year 2002, the doctor diagnosed me with cancer. Say I have cancer. And say if me, he say go cut me. And if me not cut me now live longer than 6 months, I may prove him wrong with my medicine. Me don't have no cancer. Because guess what? We all born with cancer cell. So when when I say cancer, you're supposed to find the cause before the cure. What's the cause? Yeah, stress about something and burn up your cells. Not true? So then if you go take chemo now, you're not going to burn out the whole of your cells then. Not true? Yeah, you're not going to have no cells left. You're going dead.
Have you been back to a doctor since?
No, my daughter. I daughter do a lot of tests. Yes, I mean to see what's going on inside of the system, and then me know how long I can go along with the herbs. So me do me test them, and you what them say, me not no cancer, me free from it because me do more tests when one say me have cancer, and me not live longer than 6 months. Me go and do more tests again, and that the one say, boy, no cancer. And one man say, you're born with cancer cell. Say, if I'm born with cancer cell, how you going to burn out the whole of your cells? You know what I mean? See, if you find the cause, what make you the stress? Maybe you're stressed about your man. Maybe you're stressed about a lover. Because me know what many stressed about. Many stressed about one. Somebody want me lover, me not tell it. And burn up myself. So if I find out what I want, me just let it go and burn it and cuss it. And stand firm in my herbs. Yeah, man. So
A lot of people believe that when you're a herbalist, you're supposed to just drink your herbs or eat up your herbs and don't go to the doctor. Is that the right way?
No. You check and see what's going on. You check and see what's going on. Check your pressure, check what's going on. Yeah. That's what I mean. And when you see what's going on, then you can take it from there. So with the herbs. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. I love hearing this lady talk. I love hearing this lady talk. Make sure you check out this video. This video really should be going viral. This should be more talked about than Puff Daddy. This should be talked about more so than anything else that's going on right now. But it's not. They're not going to push this because they don't want people paying attention to stuff like this. They want you paying attention to everything that's outside of yourself. I love, and she's so strong and bold in delivering her message and sure of herself. I love it. I just love it, y'all. And I like her accent.
Me? So
Tell me some of the ingredients that's in your herbs.
no, but like this one you see it make from the Cinco Bible, the chickweed, the vervine, the rice bitters, the bitter wood. It's a combination of bitter things. So you see, if 3, 4, 5 people strong and we come together, we can move a mountain. You know what I mean? So you put all these herbs together now, then it cleanses. So if you have period pain, like cramp, bad cramp a month time, this help you. If you can get pregnant, it help you because it clean out the tube.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
When you give people your medicine, what are some of the things that they usually say?
Good. Them get pregnant, they clean out the fibers, it clean out the sugar. Yes, I mean, them begin to feel better. Them
Wow.
lost appetite where them have because them can't eat no food. Them start to eat food, get fat and look
Listen
good.
to this, y'all.
You understand? Yeah, man. So herb is a natural thing. And as the most I would have said, if the leaves of the tree are healing up the nation, so we must not apply ourselves to the herbs. Let the herb be a part of our food.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not if a sodas and if a things we go eat and damage yourself. Stick to the herbs.
I'm an RN, right? A registered nurse. And when it comes to healing, everything comes from the herb, right? So doctors will do everything and do all the different type of medication. However, the herbs has no additive or preservative, right? So when it comes naturally, you get all the potents, you get all the proteins, you get everything that the body needs. So the herbs will always be with us. It's a part of us. It's
Look at our melanated people, y'all. I'm so proud of them. Look at this. This is amazing information. Amazing information. And all they want to do is push what's her name? These I'm not even going to bring them up. You know what rappers they like to push in your faces, getting Botox, lip injections, BBLs, fake hair, fake nails, all these artificial things injecting into your body, which is toxic. And here you have these women right here telling you how to bring you everlasting life. And y'all don't even pay attention to this because you are too invested into some nonsense. I can't believe people are so backwards.
from the earth, and from the earth we were created, and back to the earth we shall go.
Information is for my brothers. On behalf of daughter Lily, the brothers had advised anything that's ailing, getting weak, need to come to daughter Lily for full possibility and potential. I hope it's understood.
So have you come to Daughter Lily before?
I'm a woman, I have nothing weak. The brothers have weak members, so please help them out. Thank you.
How did you learn all of this?
Through me king man. My king man is an elder, which is Bongo Jack. So he teaches me the herbs. Because first I accept Rastafari in 1977, right? And then I accept the king within the year before. And then the king teach me to get the herbs, and he would tell me how to put them together, what the proportion I'm supposed to use, and so forth. And through with the powers of Rastafari that opened my inner door to the herb, and we become one. No, that's a book. You understand? So you get the teachment through that powers. You understand me? Natural cosmetic, natural vibration, natural flowing. You know?
Is he still with us now? He's still with us?
Who?
Your king man.
No, him tried up. But he leave sons, daughters. You know? And I was a mother that two of us as queen live together with the king and bring forth the children. Yes, I mean, yeah, man, I could show you them right now. That's my daughter, Judith, and I could show you. Rocked up, rocked up, rocked up. Come here, come here. Enoch, that's a minute. Yes, that's my daughter, Judith, and this is my son, rocked up.
Yeah, from where you the vice, you know, son, and nothing soft, right? One rocked up.
Yeah, that's my son.
Well, she is so proud of her children. This is beautiful, y'all. Look at this. I see now it says I have 20 people watching. I see y'all tuning in because you hear this truth over here with this lovely lady. Look at this, man. This is so powerful.
So then the mothers, his mother, and we live with the king. So we bring the children to them. So mothers are mothers. So we no quarrel, we no fuss. That is it. We just have children and everything nice. So my next one, my son again. Yes, I mean, one father, two mother, no picnic.
What parish are you guys from?
Eh?
What parish are you guys from?
Which parish?
Yeah.
Hanover.
Hanover.
Yeah. Man.
No, say Hanover, and we just see
Enough of done.
Yeah, man, Hanover, man.
Yeah, man.
So this is my son, this is my baby.
You're the youngest one?
Yeah, that is it.
She's here.
Ooh.
I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about your parents teaching in a herbal living?
Well, that is what I grew up in, right? And no, my mother, father do this stuff. We have to come and bring it on, right? So to know that she's doing it, we have to give the strength, right? And so she understands and everything, right?
What about you? Your mother is over 100 years old and still out here dancing and strong.
So what we want to tell the world, say, to make your medicine be a food and your food be a medicine. You know what I mean? You go grow till, you know what I mean? You go live forever, don't. Nothing soft, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. That's the best part of this whole entire podcast that I've done so far, y'all. I just absolutely love their spirit, love their energy. It says I have 21 people tapped in right now. And we'll see when I get off here how many views I really have. But y'all, please check her out. I'm going to be reaching out to her personally myself. Also, check out Dr. Jolly. I know I didn't really get a chance for y'all to see his video, but I have played a portion of his information on this channel before. Dr. Jolly, the food prophet, and that lady right there, check them out. If I find out about anybody else, I'll definitely let you know. I'll keep you informed. That is it, y'all. This has been an episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the information that I've shared. If you do, please like, share, subscribe. We are signing out. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. All right, y'all. Till next time, I do plan to be on here tomorrow for F Your Feelings Friday. Okay, y'all. We're signing out. Signing out. Signing out. Ah, that is some great information. I am so excited, y'all, about that information. Look at this, y'all. All right, y'all. Signing out.